So for this lab, you're going to get your tray. On your tray, there's going to be a beaker for solid sodium hydroxide, a flask for 1 molar HCl, and a flask for 1 molar NaOH. I'm going to put the balances up at the front. So bring them up to the front and bring your little beaker with nothing in it this way. And then tear the beaker on your flask, and you're going to want 2 grams of NaOH. So put 2 grams in just up at the top. Okay? For the solutions, I don't care if you use a little extra, but one thing you do want to do is bring your parafilm up and cover your little beaker for the NaOH. If not, if it's exposed to the air, it will not be the best. So solutions, you can come up and you can kind of pour however much you think you need. Make sure you're wearing gloves because these are acids and bases. They're pretty dilute, but just for safety's sake. So you can pour a little bit of your acid. You're going to need at least 100 mils of this one. So you'll see it's the bigger flask. Make sure you have at least 100. You're going to measure a lot more accurately at your station. And then for the sodium hydroxide, you're going to need about at least 50, I believe. And then make sure you have a stir plate. It doesn't need to be a hot plate, but it does need to be a stir plate. So what you're going to do here is basically a calorimetry that you did in the last lab. I wasn't even sure I needed to make a video for this lab, but I wanted to test them and make sure they worked okay. So there we are. So what we are going to do is the same thing we did last time, for 3 reactions. For each reaction involving volume, you use 50 mils of each solution. And then for the one that has solid, you use 2 grams. That's why I had you get 2 grams. Okay? So what you're going to do is go through the 3 reactions that you did in the pre-lab. So the first one says aqueous sodium hydroxide with aqueous hydrochloric acid. So it's 50 mils. Use your graduated cylinder. Measure out 50 mils. And put that in your little cup. And then rinse that out. If you use enough water, you can just put it down the sink. It's dilute enough. And then we do 50 mils of hydrochloric acid. We're going to put our stir bar in. Take our initial temp. So this should all look pretty familiar. And then react them. Wait for them to hit the equilibrium temperature and write down those numbers. Rinse off your thermometer. And your foam cup, everything can go down the sink for reactions 1 and I believe reaction 2. It says in the Yeah, for first reactions, they can go in the sink. C, we're going to have a collection beaker up front. This is neutralized. We did 50-50. So it is neutral and it can go right down the sink. So then we go on to reaction 2. Reaction 2 is our solid sodium hydroxide with aqueous HCl. So I'm going to measure out my HCl, 50 mils. I'm going to put my 2 grams of sodium hydroxide into my coffee cup, put the HCl, put the stir bar, close it, and put the thermometer.
Everybody, just one announcement before you head out today. No, Malden has not canceled school for tomorrow. I know that it's a hot topic other districts around us have. Boston has, Medford has, and others. At this point, at dismissal at 2:15, there has been no announcement made about school tomorrow with the pending snowstorm. I recommend that you just keep your eyes posted and pay attention. Okay, so no, Malden at this point has not canceled school for tomorrow. Keep your eyes open. If in the case
This one can also go down the sink.
Enjoy it, sleep late, rest, stay away from each other. Might help with cut down the spread of COVID. Enjoy it. If we don't, we'll see you tomorrow. Be well, do well.
And then the last one you're going to do is just another 2 grams of sodium hydroxide. So take your little beaker up to the front again, measure out the 2 grams. You are then going to add your 2 grams. I'm not going to do this because I would have to have a waste jar. So you're going to add your 2 grams to the cup. Get 50 mils of just regular water. Put that in the cup so you don't need your HCl or NaOH for the third reaction. Put 50 mils of regular water in the cup. Stirring rod, cover, thermometer, turn it on, wait for it to reach equilibrium temperature and record that. For the third reaction, that is a very basic solution. So do not put it down the sink. We did not neutralize it. Please bring it up to the front. I'll have a waste container for you. Bring it up to the front. We will rinse it off, rinse out this into the waste container beaker so you can use the sink up at the front and put everything there so that I can neutralize it before I get rid of it. So that's it. You're just going to do the 3 reactions all the same using your calorimetry skills.